So we have a fire department that's gonna come take care of it.
That's what I got.
All right. So just
As Markeith continues to wait, the door is left open and various officers and deputies come by to look at the suspect. However, treating him as an object of curiosity or scorn is likely counterproductive at this point. The animal at the zoo effect is a dehumanizing tactic, which may work counter to the purposes of the interrogation later.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one, to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality, right now.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court or pay expensive upfront legal fees. Listen, if you've been in a car accident in the past...
Shoot.
Yes.
You just want this right cuff?
We're still looking for that key, man.
Man, shit killing me, bro, for real.
Okay, I think you can.
For some reason.
A lot of people have commented on this footage that the officers probably could have loosened the cuffs, but chose not to deliberately. For one, this could serve to establish physical and psychological dominance, but there's another, far more personal reason. You'll soon see what that is.
Good job, guys. Good job. Awesome work. Awesome work.
It's a good day.
Yep, it's a great day. And Deborah's handcuffs are on him? Yep. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, bite my lip. Damn.
This is highly unusual behavior for officers to display before questioning a suspect. Generally, they try to build rapport and create a false sense of helpfulness to the suspect to get them to be more apt to cooperate. Here it appears they have no desire to do so with him and are intentionally trying to make this experience as unpleasant as possible for him. After a while, Markeith gets fed up with the handcuffs.
Man, I know y'all got a key to this shit, man. This shit killing me, bro. My hand's swelling up. Come on, man.
Sit down. Sit down.
Man, the kid, y'all on some bullshit, bro.
Sit down.
Sit down. Right there.
Sit.
Bro, let's go. Bro.
Sit down. And do not get back up.
Can you let's go, bro?
No.
Just right, go.
I ain't got no handcuffs. It's fine.
Markeith is obviously agitated enough to act out defiantly, refusing to listen to orders. This return to a confrontational aspect is once again altering the state for the interrogation to come. This is a fascinating change in the dynamic between prisoner and keeper.
The right cuff, the left cuff, right?
They're fine.
Bro.
Do you have gloves? Do you guys have a...
It's cut off from circulation.
That's gonna be bring us a cup, bring a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
But cut off my circulation. I feel my hand swelling up, my whole hand swelling up, bro.
Tensions are high, and after waiting a few minutes in silence, Markeith starts asking who is in charge here, which is an attempt to regain control of the situation by going to the top. This method almost always fails in detention conditions such as this one. Soon, two men walk in the room.
Markeith, I'm Detective Caters with Orlando Police.
This right coach.
We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay. Can you sit up and tell me your name?
This is the start of the baseline process, wherein the interrogator starts to get an idea of the suspect's demeanor and reactions when answering simple questions. This will later be used to help discern untruthful answers.
No, it's killing me. I'm telling you, it's cutting off the blood circulation.
Okay. We can work on that. Let me see the handcuffs.
The detectives finally address the suspect's handcuffs, as it seems obvious that his focus will remain on the pain he is in until it is dealt with, making the interrogation more difficult for them. They appear to loosen the handcuffs, but still don't remove them.
I can see space in the handcuff. I can see space between the skin there.
I'm gonna open up, listen, I'm gonna open up just a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit, you understand me?
Yes, sir.
This time, when Markeith brings up the cuffs, one interrogator is attentive and helpful, sending the message that he cares about Markeith's well-being. This is magnified when the cuffs are finally loosened a bit. There are upwards of 4 officers in the interrogation room. The door is open and more officers are standing in view in the hallway, which is also unusual. Generally, only 1 to 2 officers are in the room for an interrogation. Leaving an interrogation door open is also rarely seen.
You gotta get to it, man. You gotta get to it.
Oh, you're a pretty bulky guy, so. Come on, man. It ain't nothing, bro. Nothing but a 10. What's wrong with you? No, you right there, man. That's all you get right there, okay? If you move it, it's gonna turn up.
You didn't even feel, they didn't even move that motherfucker. She killed me, bro.
All right, this one I gotta do real quick, man. Face me. Face me. Face me, Marquis. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe a little bit of your face, all right? I don't think that's gonna do much, but. I'm only gonna look up a little bit.
Loosening Markeith's cuffs and wiping his face is done with the purpose to get him to focus on the case, instead of the handcuffs and injuries and blood on his face. These actions could also be a way to exert control and dominance over him, as he is unable to wipe his own face and needs to rely on them to do so.
That hurt? All right, you good? Okay, I'm good too. I did a little bit, man. We'll get the rest in a little bit, okay?
Markeith is in bad shape, with blood all over his face. He'll explain the reason for this shortly. But first, the interrogation begins.
To start a podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept and a way to record it. Here's how it works. First, go to riverside.fm and open an account, and then you'll be able to capture high-quality video and audio from practically anywhere in the world. When it comes to editing, Riverside is perfect for beginners. Even if you have zero experience, you can use their AI tools and intuitive editing features to create a professional-looking result.
You're not that fucked up. You can talk. Okay? Sit up and talk to us a little bit. This is in reference to a homicide that occurred about a week ago. And you know the one we're talking about. You've been running for a reason. You've been all over the news. You're well aware of why we've been looking for you.
I'm running because the news because y'all making up stories.
While positive confrontation can often make suspects feel backed into a corner, Markeith is deflecting this by acting oblivious, engaging in denial and claiming fabrication of stories against him.
Tell us what story we're making up and tell us why it shouldn't be believed.
I just came to the house, started shooting Sade. That's a complete lie.
You just what?
That's a complete lie.
What is?
That I just came to the house and shot Sade. That's a complete lie.
Okay.
Sade is 24-year-old Sade Dixon, a mother of two and Markeith's former girlfriend. They met on Facebook sometime after he was released from prison in 2014. Despite their 17-year age difference, the pair got along well for a while and were happily looking forward to a future together. But then they got into a fight. You see, Sade was pregnant. In fact, just a few days before their argument, she and Markeith had laughed and smiled with one another at a sonogram appointment. Markeith seemed excited to raise this child and support his girlfriend as they started a family together. But underneath the surface, there were a few things he wasn't happy about. Rest assured, we're going to dive way deeper into the bizarre thoughts and behavior Markeith started to exhibit. But for now, what you need to know is that the relationship started to crumble primarily because of one big thing. The pair's romance would reach its breaking point in December of 2016. At this time, Sade was about 12 weeks pregnant. On the 10th, Sade moved back into her parents' home, not saying much about the falling out with Markeith, but she did reveal that he had bitten her during a fight. Her family had to take her to the doctor for a tetanus shot. 3 days later, on the 13th, Sade is at the home around 9 p.m. when Markeith shows up, and she goes outside to talk with him. An argument ensues, with Sade's brother Ronald coming outside at some point to intervene. But things quickly spiraled out of control. Sade's family heard gunshots and came outside to find Sade and Ronald lying on the ground and Markeith running towards his car. Sade received wounds that were fatal. She was shot 8 times, losing not only her life, but the life of the unborn child that she was carrying. Miraculously, Ronald survived, which meant he lived to tell the tale of that horrific shooting. And you'll see when we get to the trial that the only 2 surviving witnesses to see what occurred that night, Markeith and Ronald, tell very different versions. As Markeith went on the run, the news was spreading the story of the shooting, which brings us back to him sitting in the interrogation.
But you know what happened to Sade? That was bad too.
Markeith's appointment. Markeith seemed excited to raise this child and support his girlfriend as they started a family together. But underneath the surface, there were a few things he He's in a defensive position, almost as if he's trying to protect himself.
So if you can explain to me what happened, maybe I can understand it. Because I'm looking at you like you did something wrong, and if you didn't do something wrong, then you gotta explain it to me.
Man, y'all know what happened. Sade put a gun on me. Y'all know what happened. Y'all got the guy.
Who's gonna tell me that if it ain't you? You're the only one that was there. You, Sade, Ronald, all the people, but I wasn't there. And right now, how we're gonna clarify these things is you telling me what happened. Because I don't want to guess anymore.
The officer is trying to get Markeith to talk by presenting the conversation as an opportunity for him to simply explain the real story or clarify the facts to clear up any lies in the media.
I want to be right. And I want to write the story that you tell me is your story. You control that.
He shifts back to the Reid technique here. Step 3, trying to minimize suspect denials.
Because you're the one that was there. But a lot of things have happened since December 13th, man. And only you can clarify that. See, I'm not sitting here. He's not sitting here. We're not playing with you. All we want to know is the truth. We're here already, man. This part of the story is already written.
Reid step 1, positive confrontation, involves advising the suspect that evidence has led the police to them and offering an opportunity to explain why the offense took place. That's what we're seeing here.
We're going to move forward from here. You write the rest. But what I don't want is for me to give you respect and for you to treat me like I'm a punk. You can't even sit up and look at me.
Peace steps 2 and 3 are engage and explain, establishing rapport, and account, which again is obtaining a full account of events from the subject before asking questions. For step 2, interviewers should use active listening to establish a rapport with the suspect.
Check them out. Right there. Check it out. All right.
Taking the time to explain the background, goals, and expectations of the interrogation, while encouraging the individual to speak up with any of their own relevant comments. The officer is trying to build rapport with Markeith by speaking slang to him and offering the idea of mutual respect, which is often a big deal on the streets. The officer is trying to be relatable to the suspect to gain his trust.
Bro, y'all just beat my ass. I don't want to hear that shit.
Keith, ain't nobody in this room beat your ass. This is your opportunity. This is the opportunity you have right now.
Just beat my ass. I ain't coming here like this.
This is your opportunity right now to tell us the story. What happened? And tell us what happened.
The detectives tell him this is his opportunity to speak, making it seem like it's in his best interest to do so. This is almost never the case. Suspects are always better off not saying anything and getting an attorney, even when innocent of any crimes. Some people think asking for an attorney makes them look guilty. This may be how it appears, but it's always the smartest decision.
Okay, so right now I want to give you what you deserve. So why don't you talk to me and tell me what's up, man? You've been running for a little while. We've been talking to a lot of people, and you know it, man. Your face has been all over the TV.
I'm running, stay out there. Wait, not fucking with nobody.
So what happened with Sade? I know she got in your face. I know she said some things to you that you didn't like.
The officers now use both minimizing techniques and offer him theories of justification for his actions. This is another implementation of the Reid technique and makes it seem like they understand why he reacted the way he did.
I broke up with Sade.
Because why?
Because she was lying about smoking.
Because she was pregnant with your baby and you told her stop smoking because that's bad for the baby.
She was lying about smoking.
Yeah, so I know that. But tell me what else happened. What got to the point that you had to do what you had to do? If you have to defend yourself, then you need to tell me, man.
The officer throws out the suggestion of self-defense to try to see if that will elicit a confession. This is the theme development step in the Reid method, where they begin formulating a defense or justification for the suspect, so they will more readily admit to a crime, thinking they have a defense.
Y'all know Sade when he got a gun. Y'all got a gun.
What happened downstairs?
She when he got a gun, her brother ended up coming out and he jumped on me. That's how it happened.
Which one, the older brother or the younger brother? Because she's got two brothers.
The older brother and the younger brother got dropped out while man was outside talking, so all that about me just coming there and shooting up the place, that's what lie.
That's not what's been written.
That was been
No. I'm telling you, I wrote it.
I've seen it on news myself.
Markeith, forget the news. The news put in there whatever they want to put in there. I'm telling you, I'm the one who wrote it.
That's what they did. That's what they said.
No, that's what the news are saying. They're gonna fill in the blanks.
He came to the door, started shooting Sade.
That's not what was written. Okay, I'm telling you, I wrote it, and that's not what was written.
That what the news said.
I don't care about the news. I don't work for the news. What I said was this. I said that you went there.
The news prosecute me.
No, forget well, then tell the truth about what happened, and we can clear some of that stuff. If it didn't happen how they're saying it, then let's clear it. But you know what? The only person that can do that is you. Me and this detective right here, we cannot write the story for you. You can do that yourself.
The interrogator goes towards read step 4, trying to get the suspect to acknowledge the crime.
So this is the time to do it. Because I know where you've been all day. I know the answer to that. I can sit here and ask you 1,000 questions and know the answer to them, but I don't know exactly how you felt that day that you had to pull the trigger at Sade's house.
Notice how the officer says, had to pull the trigger, as if Markeith had no choice.
That day that you had to pull the trigger at Sade's house.
This is again going on the theme of self-defense or justification.
You did what you did. If you had to defend yourself, that's what it was. But you man up now and clarify for me. My challenge to you is be a man. You were a man that day to do what you had to do.
Again, the officer said, had to do.
You were a man that day to do what you had to do.
Continuing this theme of self-defense and implying his actions were justifiable.
I'm challenging you right now, be a man, okay? Be a man and tell me what happened. Because that's the only way we can clear this.
You'll see shortly that the authorities have already done their research on Markeith's personality, as displayed through his social media. One thing they know is that his identity and reputation is a source of pride for him. So they are now going to suggest that not cooperating undermines his manhood.
Forget the news. The news is not here. It's you, I, and him. That's who's here.
You can see the close proximity the officers are sitting to the suspect and how they have him essentially cornered in the room by the way they're seated surrounding him.
So you're going to do that? You're going to man up or what?
Yeah, I said no. I ain't.
Listen, bro. Who pulled the gun on you? Sade or her brother?
We're reverting back to piece step 3, reaffirming the details of the account of the criminal behavior.
Sade pulled the gun on me.
When?
Which mean when?
When the brother came out? When?
Before the brother even came out.
You guys were talking outside?
Yeah, we were talking outside when the younger brother got dropped off, all that.
And he went inside?
Come up shooting, that's a fucking lie.
That's not how I wrote it.
Yeah, no, and I broke up with her. If you take the check, if you check the text message.
I did.
I wasn't tripping off her. She the one was tripping. And I'm lying her saying I want a family with her, which I did, but we can't have what you lying. So other than that, I wasn't tripping about shit. That wasn't me.
Right, so she pulled the gun on you, you have to do, what did you do?
I disowned her.
You took it from her?
Yeah.
And what did you do with her gun?
I put it in my back pocket, but when her brother jumped me, I guess it had to fall out.
You fall out. And when did you take your gun out?
Well, me and him was cousin.
That the older brother, Ronald, right?
Yeah.
You know who was Ronald?
The older brother, yeah.
Okay. Who did you shoot first, him or her?
This is a very loaded question. It presumes that Markeith shot both Sade and her brother, and so he needs to be very careful answering it, as it would be easy to get trapped into affirming he committed the crime. Markeith seems to catch on to this, though.
Man.
Him? Because he was on you?
They know what's going on. I talked to my lawyer because y'all just beat me up, but you want me to talk to you.
The suspect has invoked his right to an attorney, and at this point, the interview should have stopped until his lawyer arrived. Any statements he made after stating he wants an attorney would potentially be inadmissible. If he voluntarily begins speaking again, the best approach is to re-Mirandize him to clarify he is again waiving his rights after invoking them.
Markeith, I wasn't there. I'm here. I asked for somebody to find you.
I ain't got no problem talking. I ain't trying to hide that.
And I'm not disrespecting you either. Am I treating you with respect?
It was events that went along before that. I ain't just do no like that.
Okay, so fast forward, man. Fast forward. We go through all this stuff. You do what you do. Whatever happened.
Fast forward.
No, I'm fast forwarding to last week, 10 days ago.
Markeith, we got to know what happened, okay? We got a grieving family here for a police officer. They want to know what happened. They deserve to know what happened.
The interrogator refers to the grieving family in an attempt to play the morality and conscience cards on the suspect. The police officer that the detective mentioned is Lieutenant Deborah Clayton, 42. This brings us to the second half of Markeith's interrogation. If you were wondering why the tensions between Markeith and law enforcement have been especially high, well, it's all about to become crystal clear. After Markeith fled the scene of Sade and Ronald's shooting, Police were working anxiously to track him down, but for a long time, they had no luck. Markeith had somehow managed to slip out of their grasp, and for all they knew, he could be anywhere at this point. Christmas comes and goes, the holiday only a reminder to Sade's loved ones of the happy times they were excited to spend with her, but now will never have the chance to. And then, on January 9th, 2017, at around 6:45 a.m., Markeith walks into a local Walmart. While inside, he approaches a plainclothes loss prevention officer and asks if the store has a restroom other than the one at the front of the store. This was a red flag for the officer, as he suspected Markeith might be trying to conceal something in the bathroom. More than that, he observed that Markeith seemed to be tiptoeing and acting secretive. For someone on the run from the law like Markeith, it seems pretty risky to show your face in such a public and busy store, but maybe he was just desperate and running out of supplies. Maybe he figured that such an early morning visit would be safe, that he could get in and get out without any trouble. What he didn't bet on, however, was Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton entering the store just 15 minutes after he did. As both parties did their shopping, they actually crossed paths a few times. And then at 7:11 a.m., the fugitive and the law woman were actually in the same checkout line, separated only by 2 customers, before Markeith chose to leave this line and go to another to complete his transaction. Up to this point, nobody seemed to have any idea of Markeith's identity, although I'm sure he must have been nervous to be so close to an officer. Clayton finished paying for her groceries and walked out of the store, and I can imagine Markeith breathed a sigh of relief that she hadn't recognized him. But this was just the calm before the storm. Another woman in the store had noticed that there was no cashier working one of the lines, and so she went to customer service to get an employee. As the 2 return, she notices that a man has since started waiting in that very line, and so she walks up to politely explain that she had been there first. But as soon as she lays eyes on Markeith's face, her pulse begins to race. She recognizes his true identity. Coincidentally, her cousin had apparently been married to Markeith, and although she herself hadn't spoken to the man before, she knows exactly who he is. Not only did she have that personal connection with Markeith, having seen him through Facebook pictures and videos, but by this point he had also been publicly named as a suspect in Sade's murder, and a news release had listed him as armed and dangerous. Sade's parents had even hosted a press conference outside their home to beg the community for help in finding their daughter's killer. As the harrowing realization dawns upon the woman, she snaps her head back down, saying to herself, "Oh that's him." The lady tried to keep calm while exiting the store, but as soon as she was out the door, she spotted Lieutenant Clayton and ran towards her where she was still putting her groceries into her car. The woman frantically alerted Deborah. "Ma'am, there's Markeith Lloyd in the store. Y'all are out looking for him for murdering his pregnant girlfriend." Totally caught off guard, but determined to spring into action, Clayton radioed in for backup as Markeith made his way out of the Walmart. Within the next about 10 seconds, other shoppers were running and ducking for cover. What we know about what happened here comes from multiple witness accounts. They say Clayton approached Markeith as he was leaving the store and told him to stop and to get on the ground. They claim that Markeith went like he was going to run and then turned around and pulled his gun out. Clayton made one final radio transmission. Foot pursuit, foot pursuit. And then officers on the other end heard 3 gunshots followed by complete silence. About 1 minute later, they received a call that an officer was down. One Walmart employee claims to have witnessed the entire scene. She says she had just clocked out when she noticed the concerned shopper approaching Lieutenant Clayton about Markeith's presence. She could do nothing but watch as the situation intensified in the blink of an eye. She says she found herself sitting by Clayton's side and praying for her as she bled out on the ground from 4 gunshot wounds. This employee alleges that Markeith walked up to Clayton after she fell and shot her some more, even though she laments he could have fled after landing a bullet in her hip. This witness later lamented, "He wanted to finish her off. He just has hatred in his heart. I'm sorry." According to this woman, Markeith calmly turned around, walked to his car, started it up, and took off as Clayton lay taking her final breaths. Additional officers arrived within 28 seconds, but it was too late. Clayton was down, and Markeith was gone.
You know Sergeant Clayton was good people, okay?
I don't know her.
You know what she is.
Once it's revealed that Markeith shot and killed a fellow officer, the earlier behavior of the officers makes sense. Police form a brotherhood or sisterhood with each other, and when one of them is shot, the case is personal to them. Conversely, cop killers are often looked up to on the streets and in prison.
You guys went to the same school. You guys came from the same neighborhood. You know she was good people. Tell us what happened with her. Did she draw down on you first? What happened?
Y'all know she drew down on me first.
The interrogator returns to trying to get Markeith's account of events as per Piece Step 3.
No, we don't. You're the only one there. Tell us what happened.
Man, y'all know
she draw down, and did she fire the first shot at you?
The officers proposed that the sergeant drew down on him first to get him to discuss the shooting and give him a false sense of justification for his actions.
Y'all know she draw down on me first.
Why is she shooting at you?
In front of everybody. That wasn't professional. If I was a police officer, I'd have sat back and got, she not called me back up. I'd have waited down and followed the car, see what car he got in. That shit was dangerous for everybody.
Markeith is trying to shift blame from himself onto Lieutenant Clayton when he says that she should have waited for backup and that she wasn't being professional. He's failing to take responsibility for his actions.
So she came at you? I mean, we don't know this. This is why we need you to tell us.
She came at me.
For what? What'd she do when she came at you?
She pulled a gun on me. Y'all know she came at me.
Okay, we didn't know that she pulled a gun first. This is what kind of stuff we need to know.
CPR was performed on the fallen officer, and she was quickly transported to the hospital. About 5 minutes later, the Orange County Sheriff's Office captain sees a vehicle matching the description of Markeith's and follows it into an apartment complex, where Markeith allegedly steps out of the dark car and fires 2 shots towards the officer's unmarked Ford Explorer. Nobody was harmed, but 3 minutes later, a man called 911 to report that a man believed to be Markeith had carjacked him at gunpoint and then driven his vehicle through a fence. 10 minutes after that call, Clayton was pronounced dead. After 17 years in service at the Orlando Police Department, her career came down to those pivotal few seconds where her life was tragically cut short far too soon. Unfortunately, before the Orlando PD had even had time to process their beloved comrade's passing, there would be yet another casualty in this hunt, when just before 10 a.m., a motorcycle deputy responding to the search for Markeith was fatally struck by a van. That morning, 17 schools in the county were placed on lockdown as the chaos unfolded. A news conference is held alerting the public of the deaths and the search for Markeith. One sheriff calls the day one of the worst in his career, and the award for information leading to Markeith's arrest is increased to $60,000. Authorities focus their search on an apartment complex called Brookside, employing a heavy force of police officers and even armed SWAT members. But eventually, they have to call it off and let residents back into their homes as Markeith is nowhere to be found. It turns out that Markeith was very active on his internet accounts, often sharing updates of his daily life, including a Facebook Live video in November with Sade, where the couple rubbed her pregnant belly and talked about the baby kicking. The pair posted lots of videos together, documenting trips to the mall, OBGYN visits, or home cooking sessions. But the inflammatory statuses that the detectives are most interested in include one from 2 weeks before Sade's death, when Markeith posted, "Goes to be on America's Most Wanted." He also shared another update just a couple of days before Sade would die at his hands. This one read, "Orlando, Florida, when you talk about street legends, mention me." The couple also broadcasted a Facebook live stream where Sade recorded as the two were pulled over in a traffic stop. Markeith was let go with a warning, but he and Sade went on to make jokes about killing the officer. Just an interesting side note, Markeith's then 19-year-old son was actually behind bars at this time, and during a visit with his mother, he found out about his dad's situation.
My daddy was on the news.
For what?
For killing that girl. One of his girlfriends.
The police too.
He killed the police too?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? I knew he was gonna start doing that. Where?
Walmart.
He got away?
Yes.
Figured that too. You just can't kill people police in Walmart. You gotta do it smarter than that.
Smart push. No smart way to get through.
Love your enemies, all type of stuff.
You gotta break that curse. Alright, so you started dealing with that.
I got kicked out of school, he got out of jail and everything. I ain't gonna blame him for that.
It's sad to see that the boy was already going down a similarly bad path in life. Meanwhile, after another fruitless search and the FBI Most Wanted Twitter account posting Markeith's photo for the world to see, the reward in this case was raised to $100,000, which is the biggest reward Crime Line has ever received. 3 people are arrested in connection with the search, believed to be accomplices who helped Markeith in some way or know information about his whereabouts. Police scour more than 100 locations and expand the search to a neighboring county where Markeith has family. They start receiving tips that he may have shaved his head, and so they release a digitally altered picture of him to cover all their bases. On January 17th, Markeith is added to the U.S. Marshals 15 Most Wanted list. Everyone can feel that this hunt is reaching a climax, and it is later that very same evening they find him. It wasn't a tip that led investigators to Markeith, though. It was his phone. They were able to trace him through pings when he texted people. He's all alone at an abandoned house in Carver Shores. Police aren't sure how long he was hiding out there. When they first arrive, Markeith tries to sneak out through a sliding glass door, but is met with Orlando police officers. He was observed dropping 2 handguns from the window as commanded by law enforcement. He then complied with further instructions and crawled on his stomach from the entry door to awaiting officers, where he was placed under arrest. Lloyd was wearing an American Body Armor Level 3A bullet-resistant vest at the time of his arrest, rated to stop all handgun ammunition commonly used by law enforcement. A helicopter captured this harrowing footage of those tense moments. Even though officers had a million things on their mind at this point, there was one specific thing they made sure to do during this long-awaited arrest. Remember when the man in the interrogation footage asked if Deborah's cuffs were on Markeith? They indeed were. Orlando Police Chief John Mina explained that this is a tradition in law enforcement that goes back many years, and putting the handcuffs of a fallen officer on the criminal they were killed trying to catch is significant to the family as well as the colleagues of the deceased officer. Many people have inferred that this is one of the reasons why the officers around Markeith before and during his interrogation seemed so reluctant to loosen his cuffs, and it's not hard to see why that would be exactly the case. However, did law enforcement let their anger over Deborah's death go too far? What we'll discuss next has become one of the most controversial points of this case. Markeith claims that the officers beat him up during the arrest. In the helicopter video, we can see what appears to be an officer kicking Markeith in the head while he's on the ground before the video rapidly pans away. The way that Markeith may have been treated by police when he was arrested could have contributed to his unwillingness to cooperate with the detectives when he is being questioned. We can also observe in the interrogation footage how incredibly roughed up Markeith is, and he repeatedly brings up the fact that he doesn't want to cooperate with the police after they allegedly beat him up.
She pulled a gun on you, then what?
Man, I need to rest. I need to be better, man.
This is your opportunity. Markeith, this is your opportunity. Everyone's been saying all these things about you. This is your opportunity to set the story straight.
I just talk to y'all, but I ain't tripping.
Well, okay, well, if you ain't tripping, man, it's like this, man.
No, because y'all don't fuck me up.
Markeith, we are not the ones that messed you up, okay? We're the ones giving you the opportunity to tell the truth about what happened between you and Sergeant Clayton.
No, Markeith, let me ask you this.
Trying to talk on call.
Okay, hey, Markeith.
We shot it down and let her turn me in.
Markeith, check me out. No, Markeith, check me out. You worry about how you feeling right now, okay? Well, tell me something, man. What goes through your mind when you think about your baby in that belly and not living anymore? That baby died because of the actions that happened that day.
They're playing the guilty conscience / morality card again. The death of the unborn child. He is trying to evoke remorse from Markeith in order to get a clear admission of guilt.
So you worry about you, that's gonna heal. That you might get a scar. You know what? In 3 days you'll be eating fine. That baby is dead. If Sade deserved it, then you tell me she deserved it.
I had a hole so big in my mouth.
But you cannot tell me that Sergeant Clayton deserved what happened to her.
Oh.
You're tired, I know that. You've been running for a long time. You're not eating right, you're not sleeping right.
Then they locked my family, my people. Somebody helping me. I'm about trying to buy my own food out of Walmart.
Well, that's what they said.
Let's Markeith, this is about getting the truth out right now as to what happened between you and Sergeant Clayton, okay? We need to know if Sergeant Clayton pulled that gun on you first. We need to know if you felt threatened, if you did what you had to do. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, she put a gun on.
The officer again says, We need to know if you did what you had to do, in reference to shooting the sergeant. He's trying to once again get Markeith to talk by making it seem like he had justification. In reality, even if the sergeant pulled a gun on him first or threatened him, she had cause to do so, and him shooting her in this instance has no legal defense. Florida Statute Section 776.051 provides the law relating to use of force in resisting an arrest. A person is not justified in the use or threatened use of force to resist an arrest by a law enforcement officer or to resist a law enforcement officer who is engaged in the execution of a legal duty, if the law enforcement officer was acting in good faith, and he or she is known or reasonably appears to be a law enforcement officer.
Did she threaten you?
Yeah, she put it on me. I know she put it on me. I got the tape.
And is that why you did what you had to do?
Yeah.
So tell us what happened. If you're threatened, tell us what happened.
The interrogator shifts back to read step 2 here, shifting the blame away from the suspect directly in the hopes that this will encourage him to talk.
Man, I ain't got to talk, man. I'll talk to my lawyer and let him talk to y'all.
Again, Markeith invokes his right to an attorney. The police continue to question him despite his unequivocal invocation. The statements he makes are at risk of being inadmissible.
When exactly were you being threatened? This is your opportunity, Markeith.
This ain't my opportunity. You don't see me. You don't see my blood over here.
That blood will heal. Those wounds are going to heal. Okay?
Ain't no nigga, I can't even open my eye.
That will heal. All of that is going to heal. What happened with Sergeant Clayton, that's a whole different story. Okay? Did she come at you and threaten you? Did you have to do what you had to do? Tell us why you did what you did. Was she threatening you when she was on the ground? When she's on her back and you're shooting her, were you feeling threatened?
She was shooting the whole time.
She's shooting at you while she's on her back?
She was shooting.
How can she shoot at you from her back?
I'm on the ground and shoot from the ground too. If he's on the ground on me.
Okay, so she's on her back, she's shooting at you. Is that why you're shooting at her? Is that why?
The interrogator is not getting answers to his questions. All of the questions so far are leading questions. In other words, attempting to lead the suspect towards a given answer that the interrogators want to hear.
Man, y'all give me some medical attention.
Markeith, these are simple questions. She's on her back shooting at you.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. And I ain't
Tell us what's happening when she's on her back shooting at you. Tell us what's happening from there. Is that why you shot at her while she's on her back?
I ain't approached nobody. I ain't did shit nobody.
She's shot. She's on her back while she's being shot, Markeith. There's only one reason why you're doing this. Okay?
I'm defending myself.
You're defending yourself against her? Why didn't you just run? You had the opportunity to run. You had the opportunity to fight.
No,
you had all kinds of opportunities. You chose to shoot. Why did you choose to shoot? You telling me you can't outrun her? You can't outrun a female with 30, 40 pounds of gear on her? You're going to try and tell us you couldn't outrun her? Markeith, why did you choose to shoot instead of run?
When the interrogator asks, why did you choose to shoot instead of run? This is a great question because it goes to intent to commit the crime and would play a meaningful role in whether the crime is viewed as premeditated as opposed to something lesser, like manslaughter.
Markeith, why did you choose to shoot instead of run?
I ain't shooting none. Why she choose to approach me instead of follow the car? When he was standing out, she put all on.
What difference would it have made whether she approaches you or 10 police officers shoot you?
It would have made a difference because the car would have been surrounded and the situation could have came out.
You saying you can't help yourself and that's why you had to shoot?
Man, you saying that now?
Then tell us what happened. You're not telling us anything.
Now we're going to finish talking because you're trying to put words.
No. Tell us what happened. That's the question.
The interrogator starts to put pressure on Markeith in a way that would make him feel like if he doesn't speak up for himself and tell his version of the story, then someone else will fill in the holes for him. He's still deep in the read technique. Markeith doesn't budge.
Man, y'all give some.
She came to talk to you. You pulled a gun. You had the opportunity. Then tell us. We don't know.
That's a damn lie.
Then tell us what happened.
I gotta tell you because now you're trying to put words in my gut.
I'm trying to ask you to put your own words out there.
I ain't trying to put words in my mouth.
Just like you chose to shoot, just instead of run, just like you chose to shoot instead of fight. You obviously can't run, you can't shoot, you can't fight.
All right, well, what you talking for then?
Then tell us what happened, Markeith.
You can say the insult, brother.
All right, Markeith, let me ask you this, man. If you start, look, okay, we're gonna get you medical attention. Coming, get medical attention, okay?
It doesn't appear that the interrogator is actually motioning to any real people back there. Likely, he is just faking it to appease Markeith.
All right. Start me from the morning. What happened from the morning? As soon as you went in there, hear me out. As soon as you went in there to buy your food, what happened? Tell me your story in your own words, from the beginning to the end. And then we don't have to put any words in your mouth.
The officer tries once again to establish trust and a timeline here, and gives the suspect a chance to start from the beginning, to tell them what happened in his own words.
Markeith, you went to Walmart.
All y'all been doing this line. I ain't trying to talk. All y'all been doing this line. Y'all lot of people talking about they help me. How they helping me? I'm in Walmart buying my own damn food.
Tell your story then. You went to buy your own food.
Y'all know they went because y'all made up something.
Then you tell me the story.
Y'all made up shit, bro.
I don't have to make up anything if you tell me the story.
Markeith, we either hear it from you or we hear it from the people that saw what you did. We hear it from you, or we have to just basically see what the video says. All that's saying one thing. Here's your opportunity to say what happened. Where are you coming from?
I need medical attention. I can't.
Medical attention is coming.
I can't open my eye. Ain't no medical attention coming. Y'all bullshit. Why they can't yet?
The officers display their true disdain for the suspect here, and clearly aren't concerned whatsoever about his physical well-being. This is not surprising, knowing that he shot one of their own, and also because the injuries were sustained while being arrested by their colleagues.
Y'all been saying that. Come on, man.
You don't need to open your eyes, Markeith. You need to open your mouth.
No.
Okay?
You fuck my mouth, my face going about your business. Well, I don't need to open my eye and open my mouth. What do you think you talking to, brother?
The pushy and straightforward approach got a rise out of Markeith, but will it get detectives any closer to their goal?
Markeith, this is the opportunity that we're talking about. This is the interaction you obviously had with Sergeant Clayton. Sergeant Clayton attempted to do the right thing with you, and you chose to do what you did.
I don't know about your business, brother.
She tried to do the right thing. You did what you did.
You said what you want to say. I don't know about your business, brother.
Until we hear different, we gotta go with what everyone's telling us. We gotta see that basically you gunned her down for no reason. You gunned down a police officer because basically you're too scared to run.
I don't know about your business, brother.
In this case, it seems that provoking Markeith has only caused him to shut down completely. The interrogator reverts back to read step one.
Until we hear different from you, that's the only option we see out there. We see you gunning down a police officer while she's on her back. Tell us something different.
What did you shoot at the other police officer over there when you ran from your car? Markeith, man, I'm trying to give you the respect that you probably don't ever deserve.
The interrogator continues to refer to treating the suspect with respect. This is a falsehood, as there is probably no medical support coming at this point. The appeal is to respect, manhood, to gain the trust of the suspect. However, as you'll see, this backfires shortly.
Why don't you just tell me, bro?
How I don't deserve them. I'm a man just like you.
Well, then treat me like it, man. I'm treating you like a man, but you're not treating me like a man. You're not even looking at me, man. You can't even talk to me, bro. Talk to me, man.
You know what your fellow officer did? Come on, man, get this out here. That bullshit. My mother can't look at you. Give me some medical attention.
It's coming, bro. I already asked for it. It's coming.
She ain't came yet.
It's coming. Markeith, why did you shoot at the other officer? What did he do to you to make you shoot at him? Did he come at you wrong too? I mean, you gotta tell me something, man.
Man, y'all got me I'm in pain, I'm under duress, and y'all just in here just trying to drill me. I ain't got something to tell y'all. I'm under
This
duress.
is what we're trying to figure out. Are these officers threatening you?
Man,
Are you taking these actions because officers are threatening you?
I'm under duress and I'm in pain. Y'all want to beat me up. I'm bleeding to death over here. I'm under duress and I'm in pain. Spit coming out my swallow, spit coming out air. Blood coming out air. Well, I'm under duress. Y'all here questioning me. And I'm under duress and I'm in pain and I'm hurting.
Those two things ain't going to change, Markeith. Your pain ain't going to change for any time soon, whether medical attention sees you or not. The duress, whatever, okay? All we hear is that these people are threatening you, and you stood up for yourself.
Markeith keeps emphasizing how he is under duress. Duress is defined as the act of using forced coercion, threats, or psychological pressure to get someone to act against their wishes. Apparently, a person acting under duress is not seen as acting of their own free will, and so may be treated accordingly in court proceedings. By saying this, Markeith is trying to throw the validity of the interrogation into question. Though given the cameras recording the suspect and the interrogators, there is technically no duress here in a legal sense. This raises an interesting question, though. Watching this footage and knowing the context of what Markeith has done doesn't exactly make you sympathetic to him. But if everyone is truly innocent until proven guilty, then do you think all criminals who have been badly beaten or injured should be given medical attention before any questioning?
Okay? We just want to know how a police officer on her back trying to do her job is threatening you. Why you had to take that action that you did versus all the other options that you had. You had other options. Why did you choose the option you chose? That's the simple question. Can you tell us if the deputy was threatening you at the Highland Oaks? Can you tell us why you had to shoot at him? Markeith.
Tactics so far haven't been working, and so the interrogators will now try to rile Markeith up.
You've led nothing but a gutless life, man. You've shot at all your women. Sade ain't the first woman you shot, okay? You've had a gutless life. This is your one opportunity to show some sort of, show that you're a man.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I'm gonna use your words, Markeith. I'm gonna use your words, and you listen to me real carefully, man. You know what you said? You wanted to be America's Most Wanted.
Leaning in towards the suspect makes the contact more intimate and less avoidable by closing the distance.
You were legendary.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you man to man right now. You know what a legendary motherfucker does? He freaking steps on his 2 feet and he freaking stands up and says, "This is what I did." You want people to respect you and fear you.
But I was just on the motherfucking phone telling the woman called I was gonna get shot in the dead and they turned me in so they can get the reward.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's after the fact.
Although attacking Markeith's character has spurred him to talk and defend himself, he's still not giving the information they're looking for. He instead claims that he was going to let Shaday's father turn him in so that her 2 young boys, ages 2 and 8, could get the reward money.
I'm talking about you talking about being America's Most Wanted. What do you mean by that?
You don't know me.
Oh, you talking about being legendary. What is that about?
By me standing up for myself.
Standing up for yourself?
Anything. Y'all police killing our kids with their hands up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talking about.
You killed a baby, man.
Police killing our kids with their hands up.
You killed a baby.
That wasn't me.
You killed a baby. So don't even judge me on that.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
No.
Oh, that's legendary. That's a real man.
That wasn't even meant to happen.
That was meant to happen, but it happened.
No, it wasn't meant to happen.
But it happened.
Yeah, but I ain't jumping on nobody.
Huh?
I ain't jumping on nobody. Somebody jumped on me.
Somebody jumped on you. You're a grown-ass man. We're talking about a baby, 3-month-old baby in the belly.
Talking about no baby, because it wasn't no baby that jumped on me. What you talking about?
I'm talking about the baby you killed, man.
All right, brother.
You see what I'm saying? So it's okay for you to talk tough, but when I talk tough to you, you want to backpedal, man.
And you ain't talking tough. You just trying to talk to get me to talk, but I ain't trying to talk.
I ain't trying to get you to talk, man. You either tell the truth or you don't, man, because your word is your bond.
Markeith clearly has experience with law enforcement and, on some level, understands the tactics the officers are using. He appears to know that talking to them is not in his best interest. Neither party has respect for the other, nor does either want to help the other in any way.
You either act like grown-ass man right now, or you put your head between your knees, man. You got 2 options, bro. You got 2 options. Because I'm not the one saying that you're a coward for killing a woman with a baby in her belly. I'm not the one saying that. Your people are saying that.
The interrogator is slipping into Read Step 5. This step comes into play when a suspect becomes distracted or withdrawn, often by ruminating on their potential punishment, and starts to tune out instead of focusing their attention on the interrogator's desired topic. He's trying to keep Markeith receptive to the conversation. Markeith then gets quiet, but offers no emotional reaction of note. Interestingly, the interrogator does not really pose the alternative use in Read Step 7. This would entail presenting two choices for why the crime was committed, both assuming his guilt, but one being more justifiable and understandable. Many suspects believe that latching on to the more morally acceptable answer will result in a less harsh punishment. But the truth is that both options are incriminating.
You ran for 30 days plus, but we found you. So at the end, you weren't that smart after all. But you know why, Markeith? You know why, Markeith? You done your time, man. You done a long, long time. You know the system in and out. And you get to live for as long as you want to live. When God says this is your last day, that's your last day. But Sergeant Clayton didn't have that opportunity because you made that choice for her. Sade and that baby, they didn't have that opportunity because you made that choice for them. Luckily, her brother lived.
I ain't made.
Bro, your actions, man. I'm talking about your actions. And then you run because you don't want to face reality, bro.
I ain't gonna get no motherfucking guns. I ain't made shit. I ain't jumping nobody. I ain't made shit so you can kill that.
Some researchers have posited that the moment an interrogation turns into an argument, it fails. After being granted access to over 1,000 hours of interrogation tapes, one team asserted, "You need to remember what your purpose in that room is. You're seeking information. You're not there to speak on behalf of the victims or the police. You might feel better for getting angry, but down the road is retribution. If you find yourself having a go at someone, ask yourself, what am I achieving by this? Because they will stop talking to you." This is an interesting perspective to keep in mind as Markeith's interrogation goes on.
Tell me the reason why. You killed that baby. Tell me the reason why. You shot Ronald right straight in the chest. You tell me the reason why.
As the interrogation goes on, Markeith starts rocking back and forth slightly. This is a self-soothing behavior that sometimes comes out during extremely stressful situations.
You defending yourself? Then tell me the whole story and I'll listen. You shot Sergeant Clayton because she threatened you. She's giving you commands to stop and you kill her because she pulls a gun on you. That's her job. That's your option. That's your choice. So you a badass, man, when you do your thing, but you can't even face me and talk to me about it. Because there's no way in hell that you can believe your own words, man.
Markeith putting his face down on the table shows that he is further disengaging from the questioning.
What about that other cop? Because he got behind you, you got the option of shooting at him? Luckily, he didn't die. You know what we told you, Mom? That we didn't want to hurt you, man. We didn't want to kill you. We wanted you to face justice. And here you are alive.
Y'all been trying to kill me. That's what you talking about.
You are here alive, man.
And y'all don't frame murder on me already and everything. I mean, y'all don't want to kill this motherfucker city. Been trying to kill me.
So did we frame Sade's murder too?
Y'all don't frame murder on me before.
Did we frame Sade's murder on you?
No, but y'all let the motherfucker.
Did we frame the baby murder on you too?
Y'all was with that.
Huh? Did we frame Sergeant Clayton's murder on you?
Y'all was with that.
Oh, you can't say that though, right?
Y'all let new people lie.
So you're the victim here now.
Like I just came with them and just went to
You're the victim here now.
That's a cold.
Tell me that.
That's a cold brother lie. You fucking around on the victim to y'all lies.
Tell me you're a victim and I'll give you a freaking hug. Because that's what you sound like right now. See, a real man will tell the truth. A real man will tell the truth. And I thought, you know what I thought today? That I was going to come sit down in here and talk to a real man.
By questioning his character and his manhood, the officer thinks he can get him to talk to defend his manhood. However, it doesn't seem to work on this suspect. They call him a punk and a bitch. They likely chose those words deliberately. Calling someone a punk or a bitch in prison is seen as a huge insult and a sign of disrespect. They're trying to push him into defending his manliness. This is another Read technique called behavior-provoking questioning. They're trying to get a response by challenging him and angering him.
But even then, you can't even say that. You want to be legendary with lies. See, that's a punk move. Everybody tells me, man, that guy's for real, man. Right now, I don't see that.
Anger will often get suspects to blurt out an admission of key facts. The interrogators aren't getting the response they want out of Markeith, so they continue to badger and insult him.
Markeith, you every time you have an opportunity to show that you're the man you talk about, that you're this friggin' badass you talk all that shit about how you ain't going down without a fight, and as soon as the officers confront you in the yard, you bow down like a bitch in body armor.
The other interrogator jumps back in with the same goal, trying to evoke a reaction, and he almost succeeds at this point, but Markeith quickly stifles it.
So what are you now?
I ain't talking about being no badass. What the fuck you talking about?
You talking all this shit about how badass you are, but when the officers confront you at the house on Lescott, what'd you do?
All right, man. Well, all right, bye.
You bitched out. So you get confronted by a female at the front door with your unborn child in her. What do? You light her up. Sergeant Clayton's trying to do her job and tell you what to do. What do? You hide behind a pillar and you light her up. Because you a bitch in body armor.
Yeah.
Come out and say what happened.
Yeah.
You running around talking shit on social media, saying this and jibber jabber and that. Here's your opportunity to talk about yourself. Say what happened.
About bitches and all that shit. I ain't never disrespected. I ain't gonna let you disrespect me.
What do you want us to do?
You
sitting there looking down, bleeding. You sitting down there. We're giving you ample opportunity to say what you need to say to speak the truth. And what do you do? What opportunity do you take?
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm treating you with respect. You ain't telling me nothing either. So it's not about getting respect or not getting respect, because you ain't saying shit.
You've been treated right your whole life. You've had people treat you right your whole life, and what do? You put bullets in them. Because you're a punk. Because you put bullets in people to treat you right. What did Sade ever do to you? What did that unborn child do to you? Nothing. You're a little bitch that puts bullets in people when they do you right.
Markeith, tell me something, man.
And the more route.
All right, check these out. What do I tell Sade's mom? Hey, last thing I'm going to ask you, man. Hey, I'm going to ask you this. What do I tell Sade's mom? Do I tell her that you're sorry, that you said you don't care, that it's her fault that she's dead? What do you want me to tell her? Huh? You were going to call her parents to call so they can turn you in and get money or whatever.
No, I would go call her father.
Her father, all right. So you're gonna call her father, but
call her stepdad.
Is that gonna be your I'm sorry? Here's some money. That's all she was worth. $100,000.
The interrogator is now shifting from personal attacks on Markeith to focusing on the families of the deceased, trying to evoke a sympathetic reaction so that Markeith will talk about the crimes.
It wasn't about no money.
So what was it about? You were tired of running? All I need to know is, what do I tell these people? You know, another deputy going out there to help out after you kill Sergeant Clayton, die. What do I tell his parents? That it was in vain? That these people died for no reason? What do I tell them? Because to me, it's more important what the family has to hear coming from you. Because I don't think you're ever going to say sorry to them face to face. So why don't you just let me do that? Why don't you just tell Sade's mom, tell her stepfather, her father, whoever, this is what it is, and I'll go tell them. And you tell me, and we'll go tell Sergeant Clayton's family, this is what it is. I mean, if you're sorry about it.
That's a simple question, Markeith. Are you sorry about it? Are you sorry it went down like it did? Is that what you wanted all along? Is that what did you walk into the Walmart that day to say, I'm going to kill the first police officer that says shit to me? Is that what you walked in there thinking?
You obviously didn't want to die. That's why you were wearing body armor, right? So it was all about you. That's a little selfish to me. You should have stood there and said, hey, man, come get me. This is where I'm at. If that's what you wanted, if you wanted to fight. See, you're not the type of man to hide. I know that. But you know what? The last 30 days, you proved me wrong. You proved me wrong. Because your whole life, you do what you want to do. Yeah, you spent some time in prison. That was a small price to pay for all the shit you done in your life, and you know it.
And you stupid motherfucker, I ain't did shit in my life, so you can shut your damn mouth. I ain't never did shit. I ain't never had a felony tie with a creator. What you talking about? Now you just rapping.
It's unclear which insult specifically triggered Markeith to become confrontational here, but the interrogator will latch onto this opportunity and start plugging into it to evoke more from Markeith, if possible.
I'm just rapping?
Yeah, but I ain't never get in trouble. You just rapping.
I'm just rapping?
Yeah, you just rapping.
So one day you decided to go and freaking shoot Sade. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, she came at you with a gun. But you don't want to tell me the whole story. Oh, wait a minute. Sergeant Clayton, the same thing. She came at you with a fucking gun, right? Oh, you're a fucking victim every time. But every time you decide to pull up a gun, no. I'm giving you respect, man. I'm giving you respect. It's not about rap. It's not about rap. See, you don't want to hear it. That's why you're telling me to be quiet. Because for the first time in your life, a man just like you stands right in front of your face and tells you the truth. Because in the street, you say what you want, and motherfuckers don't do shit because they scare you. I'm not scared of you. I'm telling you the truth, and you can't handle that. You cannot handle it. Because a grown-ass man like you, Miggy, is telling you the truth to your face, and you can't even talk. You want a little freaking Band-Aid on your face. That's some bitch-ass move, and you know it.
Man,
you worry about the little blood coming from your face.
You can slap.
You forget that I was there, and I looked at Sade. You forget that I was there, then I went over there when they split her wide open, and I saw what you did to that baby in the valley. See, I was there.
Brother.
But to you, you're a victim.
You slide, brother.
You're a victim. You want some victim compensation? You want us to wear a pink ribbon for you?
He is still making efforts to garner some reaction out of Markeith, who has proven a tough nut to crack so far. Meanwhile, the other interrogator is going to jump back in, this time with a less intense demeanor. This isn't quite a good cop, bad cop scenario, but he's trying a very slightly softer approach, and yet this evokes a brief anger response.
Markeith, you want us to say anything to the families of these people? We're going to go talk to Sergeant Clayton's people. We're going to talk to Sade's people. Okay? We're going to talk to the deputy who was killed chasing you's people. You want to say anything to them? It all to that woman who's probably one of the truly nicest, biggest heart police officers I've ever met in my life. A woman who truly gave a shit about this community, who truly got into this line of work to make the community a better place. And you shot her down like a f***ing dog because you're a little. Okay? You want anything to say to that family?
Your mama.
Huh?
Your mama.
Whatever, dude. You're a little bitch and you know it. You want to say anything to that family? Do you want to say anything to that family?
Your dad that be thinking to get some respect and you disrespect more.
What respect do you deserve? You deserve the respect of any rabid dog on the street.
All right, well go on then. What the fuck you stood in front of me for then?
That's about the smartest thing you said all night.
Go on about your business.
Smartest thing you said all night.
Go on about your business. What you still here for?
Yeah. You got that right.
What you still here for?
You got it right.
Ain't no market, nothing. Y'all gotta give respect and give respect.
Did I give it to you? I gave it to you, right? I gave it to you. I talked to you like a man. I talked to you like a man. Let me ask you something. Did I disrespect you? Did I disrespect you?
Yeah, both, yeah.
How did I disrespect you?
Yeah, you can call them too.
Because I told you the truth to your face. I didn't call you no names.
You don't want to hear the truth.
I didn't call you no names. You know what I did? I told you the truth. I told you the truth. But man to man, if you're not going to freaking tell me the truth, if you're not going to talk to me like a man, then tell me that. Tell me, man, I can't do it. I cannot talk to you like a man. Just say it.
The officer is linking his unwillingness to talk man to him being a punk and a bitch to try to once again invoke behavior and get him to talk to prove the officer wrong and that he is a real man. This approach isn't working. Markeith seems to have no real concern for anything they're saying and still seems focused on his medical needs and the fact that the cops allegedly roughed him up upon arrest.
I think I got a hole in my mouth. Y'all got my mother's.
Sade had a bunch of them in her body too. And so did that baby. And so did Sergeant Clayton. You want to compare holes? We can compare holes.
Yours are going to heal. Okay? Your wounds are going to heal. You're going to be fine. Okay?
I read something you put on freaking Facebook. You talk about love and God first and family this and family that.
That's a load of shit there.
You know, I look at it, man, this guy can be the nicest guy one day and the opposite the next. See, I think about, damn, you know, sometimes I get pissed off, man.
By sharing some information about himself, the detective is trying to relate to Markeith and build rapport so that Markeith will be more likely to cooperate with the questioning.
Sometimes I want to say some things to my woman. Sometimes I want to say some things to my kids. Sometimes I want to say things to the people I work with. You know what? And I hold back. You know why? Because most of the times I'm wrong. I'm jumping to conclusions. But you, not you, you don't say something. You pull a gun, you freaking shoot it. Girl in the past, pissed to you. You pissed to her. pull a gun and shoot at her.
And none of that happened, so you can shut the fuck up.
Were you fucking?
None of that happened?
How about Sade? Did not happen? Did I make that shit up? Am I imagining things? Is it a fairy tale that she's dead? Because last time I freaking checked, when I stood right there and they were doing an autopsy, I know what I saw. I've been doing this for a long time. You're good at what you do, and I'm pretty sure that I'm good at what I do. And I know what I saw.
Much of it is you say you're defending yourself. You say that these people are coming at you, they're attacking you. Even when you defended yourself, even when the attack stopped, Sergeant Clayton, she was down. She was down. You already shot her. She wasn't getting up off her back. But you had to do what you had to do and stand over her and finish her off. Okay? Don't try and say that was you were defending yourself. You willfully went in there and did what you did. You willfully went in there and killed her.
The interrogator confronts Markeith with his axe, suggesting he went from defensive actions to unjustified actions. The witness who sat beside Deborah in her last moments would later claim that it looked like Markeith was trying to unload his gun on her and get rid of her like it was something personal. She alleges that Markeith continued to shoot the officer while she was down, and that she could only watch as Deborah's body jumped off the ground from the bullets. So, in truth, all the acts were unjustified. But by drawing the line, the interrogator is trying to get Markeith to justify or explain his account of events.
You had all kinds of options. Starting with the second she walked out the door trying to do her job, you had all kinds of options that did not involve doing what you did.
And the best option was for her to fall back and watch the curve. All that.
At some point, the police got to come at you. So she falls back and she watches you, and other police officers come. You wear body armor and you got a 40 cal on you.
And they already coming.
And then what are you going to do? You're going to shoot more officers?
So they could have wrote my.
How many officers would have been the appropriate number before you would have given up?
They could have wrote me off anyway.
And then what?
They could have wrote me off anyway.
How many officers would it have taken to stop you? Since one is not enough.
They chased you.
You had that opportunity. You shot at the deputy. Okay? You took that opportunity. Every time someone fronts you, you go to gun.
And then y'all already made up stories and
Well, you had.
What story is made up?
that I just went there and shot it up.
You had 30-something days to come and tell your side of the story, but you chose not to. So don't talk to me about stories.
No, y'all, you should have come on. At least told y'all, and y'all not responsible for what the news people play. Man, y'all get the fuck out of here.
No, your niece told me 2 stories. That's why she ended up over there handcuffed and in jail. She told 2 different stories. So don't be confused. I clarified all your freaking doubts. I sat down and I talked to her. But you've had 30-something days to come and tell your story. You've had 30-something days
to talk to her and say what?
You could have prevented.
Sit down and talk to her and say what?
You could have prevented your niece from going to jail by coming in here the very next day and saying, "Hey, this is what happened."
Here, the interrogators turn Markeith's frustration at his niece being jailed and harassed back on himself, telling him that his own actions led to her being detained and questioned. They're trying to change the theme of the interrogation.
You didn't do that.
Because she ain't did shit. How the fuck motherfucker doing?
They too. Yes, she did.
And I'm in Walmart trying to motherfucker.
She did. She went and got money for you.
And she went and got that money from my motherfucking daughter. That's my motherfucking check I worked for all week. And I told
brought it to you.
And I told him to give it to my motherfucking child. That was my motherfucking daughter. Y'all talking about y'all talking about.
Well, that's what she said. She got the money for you.
She ain't told you shit. I know damn well she ain't told you because she ain't brought me shit. That was my motherfucking child, my motherfucking grandbaby. So y'all can kiss my ass with that bullet. Ain't nobody gave me shit. I gave away every motherfucking thing. Ain't nobody gave me shit.
Ain't nobody gave you free food?
The interrogator uses the opportunity of Markeith's angry outburst to confront him with other sources of evidence, such as phone records.
Ain't nobody gave me shit.
Ain't nobody gave you free food?
Ain't nobody gave me shit. I bought my own, got my own shit.
Well, you don't think that we're capable of, looking at your phone records, talking to people? You don't think that we went and talked to these people and they said, yeah, we talked to them. He asked for money. He asked for food. This is what.
I ain't asked nobody for no motherfucker. That's a motherfucking lie.
So they lied on you.
The interrogator knows Markeith cares about the people close to him and tries to provoke him by suggesting that if Markeith disagrees with what they're saying, then he is essentially calling those people liars.
The motherfucker told people what was really going on. All the other shit.
So they're lying. Tell us about. All right. It's just I mean, the people you're calling. We see, obviously, we're following your phones. This is why you're here. You're calling these people. We're following those phones. What's the conversation about? You leave Walmart. You just kill Sergeant Clayton. You leave Walmart. The first person you call. You're obviously looking for help. That person give you help? Why are you calling him?
I don't need no help. Tell people
What are you calling him? What are you telling him? When you call him, tell us about the phone conversation you had with him.
I don't need no help.
You damn sure needed help, and you damn sure reached out, and you damn sure called some people.
How I need help? How I need help?
Because you just killed a police officer, and you're trying to get out of the area.
I didn't need no help.
You did that all by yourself?
I didn't need no help.
Did you do it by yourself?
You seen it, then ain't nobody with me. I know
Okay.
nobody around me.
All right. Now, how did you get from point A to point B? Somebody have to give you a card.
Establishing location and opportunity isn't the most important goal at this stage, but it will let the DA paint a better picture of the course of events for trial.
Did you steal a car to get from point A to point B?
You bail from the VW. Where do you go from there? Up in the reserves. Where do you go from there?
Medical attention, brother.
Where do you go in the reserves? Where do you go once you bail from the VW?
I get medical attention. I need medical attention.
Where do you go when you leave the VW, Marquis?
Can't open my eyes. I don't know what my.
Do you stay in the apartments?
My shit could be f***ing up right now. Y'all just got me sick.
Did you stay in the apartments, or did you go somewhere else?
Put my damn pants.
Markeith is clearly getting impatient and frustrated here, but he is only ordered to sit again, adding to his feeling of powerlessness as he has no choice but to comply.
Sit down, Markeith. Sit down. Them pants ain't going nowhere. Sit down. Sit down. Where'd you go in the reserves?
Oh man, we ain't talking no more.
You checked that? Why didn't you shoot that man? Was your gun out of ammunition? What happened?
You killed that.
When you take that VW in the Highland Oaks, why didn't you shoot him? Why didn't you shoot the guy in Highland Oaks? Marquis.
You done talking?
The interrogator gives his partner a look and a shrug. Hard to read this, but it could suggest that they feel they are making no progress. We'll watch for a change in tactics.
You done talking? You want your Band-Aid now?
All right, Marquis.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, man. I thought you were a badass. I was gonna give you a little bit of respect, even though I don't usually give bad people respect. I was gonna give you a little respect because you beat me for 30-something days and I couldn't find you.
I'm not a bad guy.
Okay, I couldn't find you. But you know what I think from our talk today? I feel sorry for you, man.
The interrogator starts to berate and lecture Markeith. I don't think there's a tactic at work here. I think the earlier look they exchanged was an expression of frustration, which is now being verbalized in one last effort to get the suspect to talk.
I kind of feel sorry for you. Not in the sense that I'm gonna cry, that I'm gonna go to church and pray for you, because I ain't gonna pray for you, man. I'm not. I haven't been to church in a long time, but from time to time I pray for people. I'm not gonna pray for you, man. You know what I'm gonna do, man? I'm gonna feel sorry for your motherfucking ass, because you killed Sade, that baby. You killed Sergeant Clayton, and you ain't man enough to take responsibility for it. So if the only thing that I can tell you today, right now, before I walk out, is that I thought I was gonna give you a little bit of respect, man. You lost the very little I have for you, man. And I know you don't give a fuck, because you much rather people fear you than respect you. Guess what? You're a rat. You're a rat. You nothing. In the street, you're nothing anymore. You're nothing but a sorry ass story.
$20.36.
This is gonna be interview with Markeith Lloyd in reference to Sade Dixon's and her unborn child's death. This interview was conducted at the Orlando Police Department headquarters. The time right now is gonna be
Open your eyes, Markeith.
8:39.
Open your eyes. That was a true angel right there you put down.
Making the suspect open their eyes to look at a picture of one of the victims is another emotional reaction tactic interrogators will use.
There's a true angel you put down because you're a pointless little fucking dog, okay? And my only regret is that you're breathing right now. You get what you got coming.
Legendary. I thought you were ready to put up a fight.
I don't fear nothing.
You don't fear nothing.
You know what? Beat this case. Put me in the street. Beat the case. That's what you gotta do. Beat the case. Beat the case. Because there won't be another day. And you know what next time is gonna happen? He's not gonna be Sergeant Clayton. It's gonna be somebody like me.
The officers end the interview in frustration when all the different tactics they tried get them nowhere with Markeith. This is not a case that a confession is necessary evidence. They have eyewitness accounts of both shootings.
You just rapping.
Yeah, I'm just rapping. You a f***ing rap.
You had the opportunity. You had opportunities to do all that you talked about. You had all kinds of opportunities to talk about. And what'd you do? You crawled out on your hands and knees. You know what you are.
You'll get your bologna sandwich later. Hello.
In using the Reed method, the interrogators tried two major themes. First was appealing to his manhood and his desire to be legendary. This had relatively little impact, though surrounding appeals to his credibility did evoke some reactions. The other theme attempted was to play on his concept of remorse. However, there was even less success here. More officials come in to take photos of Markeith, cutting his shirt off and documenting his injuries. After a little while, medical assistance arrives for Markeith as well. Markeith was treated at a medical center for about 20 hours before being taken to Orange County Jail. And then, on January 19th, bright and early, he had his first court appearance. On charges related to Sade's death, that is. As far as legal trouble goes, this was far from Markeith's first rodeo. Markeith did have a history of criminal activity, going back 2 decades. In 1995, when Markeith was about 20, he had been arrested on a murder charge, which was later dropped because a witness lied about key information. Then in 1998, he was accused of battery on a law enforcement officer and spent 4 years in jail. Markeith attacked at least one guard while doing time for dealing drugs, and in 2010, he was caught with homemade weapons while in federal prison, which he said were 2 shanks for protection hidden in his hair. While behind bars, he pleaded guilty to cocaine possession from a prior case. Markeith got out of jail in 2014, and in 2015 he got married, but within 6 months of the wedding, he faced domestic violence charges against his wife, although they were dismissed. All in all, records show that Markeith has been arrested 20 times since 1994. But despite all the experience Markeith had being in the courtroom, he was quick to make a bad impression on officials during the first appearance for Sade's case. Markeith started out by declaring that he will be defending himself in court. Choosing to represent himself was a bold choice. Markeith may have had some grandiose traits, believing that he was so superior that he could do better than a lawyer. He may have enjoyed the feeling of power as well as the attention. On the other hand, it's also possible that Markeith had such a mistrust in authority that he felt he couldn't rely on a lawyer to be on his side. It's clear that nobody really thinks this is a good idea. But as the conversation goes on, Markeith gets fed up and starts interrupting, cursing at the judge repeatedly, as you can see in this clip.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to go ahead and do.
Well, first of all, I got questions to ask.
You're here for first appearances on a warrant, sir.
Y'all making up like I just went in there and shot this girl, endangering my family.
Okay, a judge is a...
What if other people want to do something back? Y'all portray this to the news people like I just went in there and shot this girl when there was other guns found on the scene. And all kinds of guns were pulled on me first, but y'all acting like I just went in there and shot her. Her little brother got dropped off while me and her was standing there talking. So there's all kind of other shit that happened before y'all just put on news. Oh, I just went in there and shot this girl, got my family at danger. So no, I wouldn't have come in right
Thanks for requesting, Mr.
Markeith goes on an angry rant about the fact that others were arrested in connection to his search, which he feels was unfair because he says he was doing everything himself.
I'm not finished talking because y'all been making up the whole time. And then y'all make up stuff on my family, lock them up.
It appears that it's important to Markeith to make it clear that no one helped him while he was on the run. This may have been an egotistical motivation as he wanted to take all the credit, that he did everything by himself. Alternatively, he may have wanted to protect his family or friends from getting in further trouble. While psychopaths are unable to form emotional connections to others, sociopaths may form some meaningful relationships.
All right, here's what I'm going to go
I
ahead
didn't
and
receive nothing from nobody. I was out there by myself. How in the hell anybody helping me doing anything? I went to Walmart myself to buy food. Wasn't nobody doing nothing for me.
Now, the three people in question here are actually Markeith's former manager at a place called Texas Fried Chicken, who was alleged to have given Markeith food, Markeith's niece, who was believed to have picked up money for him, and one of Markeith's ex-girlfriends named Jamise, who was thought to have collected rent money from a woman at Markeith's apartment and planned to pass it on to him. Some have called these arrests into question, wondering if they were truly justified, or if these people were unfairly detained and employed to lure Markeith out of hiding, which has just been another popular talking point in this convoluted case. In his final note of the court appearance, Markeith brings up his injuries and says there was no reason for the violence he endured.
And then when they had me in the hospital, the Channel 9 News sent out their way for me to come out and see what they did for me. Or they done took my eye. They done broke my nose, broke my jaw. They did till I resisted, but I crawled out to the mother road. So how did I resist? I ain't resist. They just did that. They tried to hide it from the news people, but I'm here right now.
corrections. I think we've established everything we need to do in a first appearance hearing. He can be taken after he signs. Have him sign the no contact.
Following Markeith's claims that he was beaten by the officers apprehending him, the Orlando Police Department released the helicopter video you saw earlier, which appeared to show one man kicking Markeith during the arrest. Police Chief John Mina held a news conference to address the content of the video. He says that officers were concerned that Markeith could have been hiding something within his body armor because of the way he was struggling as he crawled on the ground. Furthermore, Mina asserted that Markeith didn't comply when he was told to put his hands behind his back, which was one of the reasons force was used. It is reported that the officers kicked and punched Lloyd in the face and struck him numerous times with the muzzles of their rifles, causing cuts to his face and back and a fractured eye socket, which required surgery. Markeith ended up losing that eye as a result of the injuries. The state attorney's office determined that these actions met the definition of deadly force, or force which was likely to cause death or great bodily harm. All the same, according to the Orlando Sentinel, the state attorney's office cited Florida's Stand Your Ground law and ultimately found that the use of force was lawful and justified. Markeith soon made his second appearance, where he was once again combative with the judge, and for some bizarre reason, he at first ignored her, denied he was Markeith Lloyd, and then started asking who she was.
Sir, you're here for the charge of murder of a...
There ain't no Markeith Lloyd. Who are you?
All right, you're here for murder of a law enforcement officer, attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, carjacking with a firearm, aggravated assault
May I have your name, please?
with intent to commit a felony, and finally, possession of a bulletproof vest and commission of a felony.
Markeith likely felt very powerless in court, so trying to turn the tables on the judge was his way of exerting control. There is little that Markeith can control in his life at this point, except for his own words. Interrupting the judge or refusing to answer her questions was his attempt to take charge of the situation.
Mr. Lloyd, do you want the services of the public defender? I'll ask you again. Mr. Lloyd, would you like a public defender appointed to represent you?
You have a claim against him. May I ask who your name is, ma'am?
All right, I'm finding he didn't fill out any paperwork corrections. It's my understanding he didn't want to. So I'll go ahead and find that he's waived his appearance for today.
Please, ma'am.
His first appearance is over. Good luck to you, Mr. Lloyd.
That conversation was certainly less than friendly, and unsurprisingly, a third court appearance didn't go much smoother. Markeith wore a bandage around his head and left eye, and he cursed at the judge again, saying, "I'm here for what? Resisting arrest? And this is what happened to me. Q." Nonetheless, a judge eventually ruled that Markeith was competent to represent himself. Fast forward to February, and Markeith is formally indicted on charges related to Sade and Deborah's deaths. Despite Markeith's insistence that he wanted to represent himself thus far, he suddenly declared that he wanted Florida's highest-paid capital litigation lawyer, Terrence Linneman, to represent him in his murder cases, a wish which was eventually granted. And this brings us to the second half of today's story, the murder trial. In researching this case, I always knew I wanted to analyze the interrogation footage you saw earlier. But the deeper I dug into this trial, the crazier things got, and I realized that the information revealed in court might just be the most intriguing part of the entire case. First of all, reports say that in the months leading up to the trial, Markeith went on a rampage in the Orange County Jail, violently ripping phones off the wall, breaking glass, and destroying a TV and iPad. Authorities say they couldn't get close enough to even use pepper spray. He apparently shouted about how he was the son of God while causing thousands of dollars in damage to the facility. What's more, in videos of jail visits between Markeith and his family, Markeith appears to make light of his dire situation.
Turning through the phone call. They should need to see you private. Y'all get off. Anybody like, oh, anybody like, you want to down autographs? I'm being bad. I don't be bad. Write me a book.
Where to one?
Get some money. Everybody else trying to get paid on my name. And you my own name.
You nationwide. Everybody know you. Worldwide. Everybody know you.
I'm worldwide. I did nationwide. Ask you to hear me.
You a healer. You already know, fool.
I was ruthless. I'm everywhere. I was speaking on the bus stops.
What?
Yeah. I was doing everything right to stay out there. I was working my ass off, doing right.
Everything right, doing right, and everything went wrong.
Very get involved with wrong people.
He may have been trying to put on a front for friends and family who came to visit him in jail in order to protect his image. He also seems to make fun of Shade.
She was texting me stuff like, you lied to me, somebody want a family with me. I'm get your baby, you gotta bring the baby no more, this and that. I'm like, man, you tripping. So she gonna be tripping now. Cause I'll leave them that's going on my business.
Finally, in late 2019, the trial concerning the Shade Dixon case began. During his testimony, Markeith revealed details about his short-lived but turbulent relationship with a young woman, and his words are extremely telling. After getting out of prison, Markeith was working 4 jobs, and he went from being homeless to being able to rent a place of his own. Soon, he was excited to include Shade in his new life, but he says when they started talking, he asked her, "What else you got to offer? What's your credit score?" You see, Markeith has some very strict guidelines of what he wanted his partner to be like. The first time he picked Shade up to hang out in person after chatting online, he had some distinct opinions on her clothing choice.
When I first picked up, she came out and she had on some shorts, booty shorts. So I was gonna say something, but I didn't say anything. A queen don't dress like that. You're exposing yourself to the world.
We can see already that Markeith has a tendency to think he knows what's best for his romantic partners. Nonetheless, the relationship was budding, and Markeith says when they were about to have intercourse, she told him not to use protection. From that point, their relationship progressed quickly, and they started to move in together. Markeith goes on to say that Shade wanted to study to become a real estate agent, and then later on an OBGYN. He started taking her to school during the days and working his delivery job at nights. But he claimed Shade started to think he was messing around with other women while she was in class. Therefore, Markeith started sleeping in the car in the parking lot when Shade was in class. Just from these anecdotes alone, it is clear to see that their relationship was toxic and built on a very shaky foundation from the very start. Markeith says they soon found out that Shade was pregnant, and they even went live on Facebook to show friends their sonogram appointment. But then Markeith calls attention to something really interesting.
A lot of people didn't pick up on it, but she live. She got the phone now. She's live. We get in the car. Then she was like, I need to check. I need to check when I conceived.
What did that mean to you?
I feel like she was pregnant before I got with her.
Okay. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't care. I wanted the baby.
Yeah.
Markeith explains that since he's a convicted felon, he can't adopt a child, and he really wanted a baby to raise, even if it potentially wasn't his. His fixation on controlling her behavior only grew stronger. Now, one of his requests was understandable. He didn't want her to smoke weed while pregnant. Markeith spoke about why he started feeling especially adverse to drug use.
I was in the car. I smoked with her. and it had my whole body hurting. So I'm like, oh my God, my whole body was hurt. I'm like, Sade, I thought it was a sign from God, because if we is doing this to a grown person, what you think is doing to a fetus that's trying to develop a brain?
Markeith began to suspect more and more that Shade was smoking marijuana during her pregnancy, which became one of his biggest concerns. But Markeith's worries about Shade's lifestyle didn't stop at drugs. He also started instructing Shade not to eat meat. He supposedly hadn't consumed any himself in 10 years, saying that he doesn't believe in killing God's creations.
I don't eat meat. I don't believe in death, so I don't believe in killing God's creation. So I feel like God made animals just like he make us. We all the same flesh and blood, so I don't eat flesh and blood.
Markeith even says he received signs from God that he shouldn't eat meat. And this next clip shows the unorthodox way this happened.
I was in prison in Colorado. I was inside a mountain. And so I came out one day. I looked. I just see so much life. I see so much green, the trees, the earth. And then it hit me. I'm like, damn. So I felt like God was sending me the sign, like, this what it is.
It's unclear if Markeith is describing a hallucination in which he was inside a mountain, or whether he is attempting to describe a real situation he experienced. Hallucinations can be caused by a mental health disorder, but they can also occur as a result of drug use.
So it hit me. When nature is alive, it's green. The grass in the trees. When nature is dead, it's brown. And they say you are what you eat, so you really are what you eat. So if you take in death, death go follow. When you start eating how God created you to eat, your feces is going to come out green.
Markeith says he feels like he gets signs from God all the time. Markeith's unique moral system also presented itself in more questionable ways. Once, when Shade misled Markeith, he grabbed her by the neck and pushed her down in anger. Later on, though, he felt like what he did was wrong. He cut his long dreadlocks as a show of self-punishment. Things continued to go downhill, and eventually the relationship soured to the point where Markeith decided he wasn't too sure if things were going to work out with Shade. However, he didn't want to leave right away because he claims her family wanted her to get an abortion, and as he didn't agree with that, he had a plan. He would wait until she was 6 months pregnant to leave her so that she wouldn't be able to terminate the pregnancy. Interestingly, Shade's mother denied the claim that she had suggested an abortion to her daughter, and Markeith even admitted on cross-examination that he had only heard this secondhand from Shade. Markeith really kept harping on how much he had wanted this child. In fact, Markeith didn't just have a rough idea of what he was going to do to keep the baby. He had a whole plan laid out. Markeith explained that he cheated on Shade with one of his ex-girlfriends once, and, long story short, Markeith planned to raise Shade's child with this ex-girlfriend as a plan B.
One day, she went somewhere. By this time, she just lied. She was lied about so much stuff, so I didn't trust her. So she went somewhere, so I called Janice. So she was like, where your girl at? I said, I don't know. She probably with somebody. I don't know. Me and Janice went and had sex. And so that's when I told him, like, man, you go get back together. I'm like, I'm gonna get her 6 months to get her stuff together. I said, she got her stuff together, I'm gonna stay with her. I said, if she don't, me and you go get back together. Because at 6 months, she ain't gonna be able to get her abortion. So then she was like, all right, bet. So I had to make the future plans for Janice to be the mother.
It seems that Markeith had 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the relationship with Shade. And this infidelity would end up being one of the last straws in the crumbling relationship. But one of the most heartbreaking parts of this footage is when Markeith talks about Shade's children. He describes a trip they all took together to a lake shortly before Shade's death. But Markeith's anger grew because he felt like Shade was distracted from outing with her kids, and he claims it was because she wanted to go smoke pot with friends.
I said, why you just sit there lying in my face like I'm some fool, like I don't know you high? I said, you see, you started this trash. Why these kids around here? I'm like, man, all you doing, I don't trust you. I don't want to be with you no more.
This started an angry back and forth of texts about the lack of trust in the relationship. Shade ended things on an amicable note, though. After Markeith dropped her off, Shade wasn't responding to him for a while, and so he sent her some long-winded texts telling her she could do whatever she wanted with her life, but he wanted her to keep the health of the baby in mind. And then, on December 13th, about an hour before the shooting happened, Shade responded to Markeith's messages saying, "Don't expect no baby." He interpreted this to mean she was getting an abortion. Shade texted Markeith screenshots of his Facebook conversation with another girl and called out that he went on live from a strip club with other girls within the 2 days after they broke up. And that's when Markeith headed over to Shade's house. And in this murder trial, right off the bat, it became clear that there were two very different accounts of what happened the night of her death. Up until a certain crucial point, the opposing sides told a relatively similar story. Shade and Markeith were in the midst of a heated confrontation, the unborn child and accusations of infidelity being the main topics at hand. At some point, Markeith admitted that he had hooked up with his ex. They were speaking outside of Shade's home, but she suddenly went back inside before re-emerging and calling him to the side of the house. It was then, Markeith says, that he realized she had retrieved a gun.
That had been given to her as a gift. She took it downstairs and went back outside. Sometime after that, the defendant took the gun away from her.
Taken aback, he pulled out 2 guns of his own, which he says he always carried after being robbed, and prompted the girl to hand over her weapon. According to Markeith, Shade did what he said and dropped it. But instead of dropping it carefully off to the side, as he claims he instructed, he alleges she didn't listen and instead extended her arm out front to drop the gun, which caused him to panic, and he squeezed his trigger. The whole world screeched to a halt as both parties processed what he'd just done. However, the weapon luckily didn't fire. Markeith quickly retrieved Shade's gun and put it into his pants pocket, which would seem like hopefully the end of an explosive situation. But then Shade's brother, Ronald Stewart, came outside to see what was going on. He had heard the commotion and wanted to defuse the dramatic and increasingly dangerous confrontation. Markeith says he tried to explain that Shade had started the altercation and that they were fine on their own and didn't need help. However, here's where the 2 versions of the story diverge. Markeith's lawyer said that Shade taunted Markeith by saying that Ronald could beat him up.
My brother can whip your ass. Within a few minutes of that statement, her brother attacked Markeith Lloyd.
Markeith claims he turned his body to show Ronald that he had taken Shade's gun and tucked it in his back pocket. But he alleges that Ronald took the opportunity to attack, and a scuffle ensued, as demonstrated in this clip.
Okay, you got the gun cuffed, okay? And where is this hand? Oh, you're turning like this? And then show me what he does.
Not me, you don't touch it.
Markeith says at some point Shade's gun fell out of his pants where he had stashed it, and that he was scared for his life and afraid that Shade had picked it up and rearmed herself while he fought Ronald. And so Markeith went into what he calls warrior mode and just started shooting over and over again, hitting Ronald in the chest and both thighs in the process. The prosecution, however, instead asserts that when Ronald came outside, he simply told the fighting pair to break it up and talk another day before he and Shade turned to go back inside and walked onto the porch. However, they say the door was locked and allege that Markeith did the following.
The defendant, who had moved to the end of the driveway, then came up and stood just off of the concrete walkway in the yard. He reached into his hand warmer part of his jacket, pulled out a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol that he had brought with him. He said, "Nah, she ain't going away. She's not going with you." She cocked the gun, he pointed it, and he fired.
The prosecution says the first round hit Ronald in the abdomen, causing him to fall down onto the porch. They say Markeith approached the porch, firing, hitting Shade several times before she fell as well.
Ronald Stewart was laying on his back. He walked over, stood over Ronald, shot him a couple more times, left, and just walked out to his car.
Ronald himself testified in court that Markeith was standing a little ways away from him and pulled out the gun unprovoked, while Shade was banging on the door trying to get inside.
He did his motion to, I guess, put the bullet in the chamber. Before he did that, I was like, it's not that serious, bro. And I had my hands up like this. I heard a bang, and next thing I know, I didn't have control over my body.
He then says Markeith stepped over him and kept shooting Shade before turning his attention back to Ronald and shooting some more. In a crucial query, Assistant State Attorney Rick Ridgway asked Markeith how a bullet fragment struck the concrete under Stewart if he wasn't standing over him and shooting downward. Markeith couldn't explain this. Markeith then started towards his car, but when Shaday's mother and other brother opened the door to see what was going on, he fired additional shots towards them. The prosecution highlighted this moment as follows in their opening statement.
When they opened the door, there was the defendant running away toward his car. He turned, raised the gun, and pointed it at the door. Dominique grabbed his mother's arm, yanked her back inside, slammed the door, heard a couple more shots, then heard the car drive off.
Markeith's side argued that he only took those shots out of fear because he thought Shaday's family was a gun family.
I never meant for this to happen. I wanted my child. I'm not going to kill my sister. I'm not going to kill my queen. I wanted my child. I didn't want that. All I ever did all my life. And provide and protect.
Now, Markeith also testified about his time on the run, and whether he's being completely honest or not about his intentions, his words still give us an interesting idea of his headspace. Authorities uncovered text messages sent from Markeith moments after the shooting. He texted Shaday,
Don't know if you're gonna make it. Hope you don't. I told you don't play with me, and you went and got a gun on me instead of talking to me.
Okay. And is there anything incorrect about that?
Yes.
What is it?
I didn't put don't. I thought I put do.
The text message that Markeith sent to Shaday shortly after the shooting indicates that he was already trying to put the blame anywhere but on himself. He's trying to justify his actions. He claims that there was a crucial typo in his text, alleging he meant to say, "Hope you do make it," instead of "hope you don't." Hours later, he texted Shaday, "You caused this." Markeith says as he went on the run, he saw the news reporting that he went to Shaday's house, banged on the door, gunned her down, and then when her brother came to help, he gunned him down too, which he says was a complete lie. So Markeith wanted to do something to set the story straight. He called his niece and asked her to let people know that it was self-defense. He says he wanted the authorities to have the media retract the version of the story that made him look bad, and then he would turn himself in. In his mind, this would be their way of proving they weren't trying to kill him. Markeith says he was worried that someone took Shaday's gun off the crime scene to make it look like he was the only one with a weapon. Strangely, his lawyer affirms that the gun left in the yard was not included in the probable cause affidavit for some reason. Markeith says he realized the investigators weren't going to set the story straight, so he sent his niece directly to talk to the news people.
So now I tell my niece, I'm like, you know what, bump the investigators, go to the news. Now I send her straight to the news. She goes to the news, she get an interview, and then I call her. I'm like, Kensha, what's up? What happened? She was crying. She was hysterical. She's like, Uncle Keith, they played what they wanted to play. They played what they wanted to play. They played what they wanted to play. So I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, man, they trying to kill me. I'm like, all right, come to find out, we trying to get the original interview. They done destroyed that. We try to get that from the news people. They done destroyed that. Because they know they part of it too.
In cross-examination, Markeith continued to assert that he was the victim in this whole situation.
So Ron attacked you, and then you thought Shaday had a gun, and that's why all the shooting took place.
Yes.
So it really wasn't your fault.
No.
My question to you is, none of this is your fault.
No.
In fact, you're really the victim here today, aren't you?
Of course I am.
I have no more questions.
And so, after hearing all sides of what happened in the murder trial of Shaday Dixon and her unborn child, a jury found Markeith guilty of first-degree murder, killing of an unborn child, attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted felony murder, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Markeith had virtually no reaction, which was quite the change of pace from his early explosive behavior in court. Perhaps Markeith now knew that he needed to make the best impression on jurors, as his life was now in their hands. Now, the defense had one last shot to convince at least one juror from everything that has happened in Markeith's life that he should not get the death penalty. Markeith's mother testified on his behalf, affirming that she would continue to love him no matter what. She spoke a little on Markeith's childhood. At a young age, Markeith witnessed a friend and a cousin being murdered. His attorney explained that in the area Markeith grew up in, Pine Hills and Carver Shores, there are unfortunately 2 routes that a lot of people take: robbing or dealing drugs. He says Markeith chose the latter. Markeith's mother detailed the turbulent home life that Markeith was born into. She said Markeith's father died when the boy was 3 or 4 of a drug overdose. Markeith's mother is asked where Markeith would hang out from the ages of 10 to 13. She responded that he spent his time in the streets and would take care of her other children while she was partying. The violence he witnessed and the trauma he experienced as a child likely had a huge impact on his development. He may have felt like he didn't have much control over his environment when he was young, which led him to have significant issues with control as he got older. Here are some relationship red flags that may signal possible danger to come. History of violence. If someone has a history of any kind of violence, it's a warning sign that more violence could occur in the future. The level of violence often escalates over time. Impulsive. People who are impulsive often act in the heat of the moment, based on high emotions rather than logical thought. If someone is both impulsive and has access to a weapon, especially a gun, this is a dicey combination, engages in dangerous behaviors. If someone is frequently involved in reckless behavior, steer clear. For example, if you're in a car with a partner who is speeding excessively, but they refuse to slow down when you ask them to, this is a red flag. They're showing a careless disregard for your safety. It also may be a scare tactic to show you that they are in control, makes threats toward other people. Pay attention to how your partner treats other people. If your partner frequently threatens or tries to intimidate others, this behavior could eventually be turned on you. Even if the threats are made in a joking manner, this behavior is still a red flag. Tells you what to wear. If your partner tries to tell you what you're allowed to wear, this is a red flag for an abusive relationship. Controlling what someone wears is one way that abusers exert power over their partner. Abusers may also try to control who you can talk to, where you can go, or even what you're allowed to eat. Relationship moves very quickly. Abusive relationships often go from 0 to 100, with couples becoming very serious very fast, possibly moving in together or getting married in a short amount of time. The abuser may be very charming in the beginning phase of the relationship, and the partner likely feels flattered by all the attention. Now, this next part I found really shocking. Apparently, Markeith got kidnapped once when he was about 17, leading to some pretty severe injuries. The beating Markeith received in this instance reportedly lasted 4 hours, which is reported to have contributed to his PTSD and paranoia. Markeith's mother also spoke on him going to a mental institute at age 9. She says he was almost killed in prison when someone stabbed him with an ice pick close to the heart, which added to his paranoia about people coming after him. One of Markeith's sisters also spoke up to say that Markeith often acted as a protector in their formative years when the children's mother was absent, that he would steal food and belongings for the other kids on the nights they had to go hungry, and pay the lights and water bills to get them reconnected. 2 doctors testified during the trial. The first diagnosed Markeith with grandiose and paranoid delusions, which he said was important because this can precipitate violence.
So he gets targeted and arrested more often than others, and he used to run the entire city of Orlando. And real quickly, I'm thinking, these are odd or unusual thoughts.
A clinical psychologist also took the stand to say that Markeith suffers from PTSD, possibly resulting from childhood beatings at the hands of his mother, or the robberies he was the victim of during his time as a delivery man. Markeith testified that one co-worker got murdered working this same delivery job. Those were the main points that were presented in a bid to make the jurors sympathetic to Markeith and spare his life. And then finally, it was time for them to decide. Should Markeith spend his life in prison or be sentenced to death as punishment for the lives he took? The judge advised everyone that there would be no outburst when the verdict is read. In this tense clip, everyone holds their breath as the big moment takes place.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the aggravating factors are sufficient to warrant a possible sentence of death. No. Dated this 23rd day of October, year 2019, in Orange County, Florida, signed by the foreperson.
Nearly 2 years after the start of his first trial, Markeith Lloyd went to trial for the death of Deborah Clayton. Markeith's trial officially began in October 2021. Following the opening statements, Markeith made a shocking claim, shouting that he had attempted to turn himself in twice before Walmart, where Deborah was shot and killed. No evidence was presented to prove this claim. One of the main points of debate during the trial was who exactly fired the first shot, Markeith or Deborah. The defense claimed that Markeith saw a gun in his face as he left the store and thought he was going to be shot, so he ran. He says he didn't know the gun belonged to a police officer at the time. He also claimed that he was not holding a gun at the time when Deborah fired at him, and that he only pulled his gun out and returned fire after he heard a shot. claiming that he was defending his own life. However, it was made clear that even after an investigation, it was unknown beyond a reasonable doubt who actually fired first. During closing statements, Markeith made sure his feelings were heard as he shouted, "They're lying." Yet on November 3rd, he was found guilty of the first-degree murder of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. After his conviction, prosecutors then filed to seek the death penalty. Keeping in mind that Markeith had already avoided the death penalty previously, the prosecution argued that since Markeith already had a life sentence without the possibility of parole, that another life sentence would just, quote, be another piece of paper in Mr. Lloyd's file, and that it was no punishment at all. In December 2021, a jury of 12, the same jury who found him guilty of first-degree murder the month prior, unanimously recommended that this time around, Markeith receive the death penalty. On March 23, 2022, about 5 years after Lieutenant Deborah Clayton was shot and killed, Markeith Lloyd was sentenced to death.
Facing a possible sentence of up to 15 years in prison plus a $10,000 fine, plus any charges they could slap him with.
Oh, here you go. Damn. Mm. Bad. God damn. You need to park that bitch.